Okay. Hello and welcome. My name's Petra. I'm in Stonington, Connecticut today, which is July 3rd, 2024, with my lovely daughter,
Natasha.
Together we are Knit Inc. And after a bit of a hiatus, we are bringing you episode
So if things have done 44,
44.
episode 44, if we
Okay.
have done things according to plan, which is we recorded an episode back in February, and I wanted to have that posted hopefully a few days ago, if not yesterday. And that is episode 43. And now we are doing our double feature of episode 44. So I looked it up, and our last podcast that we published was December 2023.
Gosh.
So
a whole half a year has gone by.
yeah.
And
I'm saying welcome back, but
yeah, welcome back.
welcome back to ourselves. Welcome back
Yes.
to our returning viewers. And if you are a new viewer, a warm welcome to you too.
Mhm.
We have a lot to cover. A lot of life has happened. Some good things, a lot of rough things for our family. But we're hanging in there. I'll put in a timestamp for when we get into knitting, just in case you'd like to skip to that, because we definitely have a lot of knitting to talk about too. But some highlights: we did go down to Florida and see your family, your sister.
It's your family too.
Well, I know
Our family.
our
Yeah, my
family,
sister,
but your
yeah.
sister, your side of the family.
Yeah.
Your mom, my two cousins, and my uncle Nick, and John, Mateo, my sister's boyfriend, and my dad went as well. What was it? There was like 11 of us? 12 of us?
There were 11 of us,
11
I
of
think.
us?
Yeah.
And our friend Natalie, who we met on our cruise in 2019,
With Anya and Carlos.
with Arnie and Carlos in Norway, lives in Pensacola, and we were about 2 hours from Pensacola.
I think so,
And
yeah.
she came for the afternoon, so it was nice to meet up with her.
Mhm.
And you went on an even more amazing trip with her recently, but we can cover that in a second, because I feel like there's any other...
And
Any
you
other
should put
highlights?
her, so Natalie has Studio South Pensacola. She's a hand dyer,
Mm-hmm.
but she actually closed her studio and she's just thinking about what she wants to do creatively now. And I think her creative mojo is definitely coming back.
And ours is coming back
And
too.
ours is coming back
Ours
too.
has ebbed and
Yeah.
flowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other fun highlights?
Well, let's see. I think the last time I was talking about my Portuguese walk,
Right.
but
yeah, because you
this
had come back from that.
I had come back from that.
So
yeah.
we've covered January.
We've covered January. Yeah. I guess the biggest the kind of fun highlight for me is the trip that I took with Natalie from Studio South Pensacola, basically Northern Europe into the Arctic Circle for 3 weeks, and we just came back. I just got home 2 days ago. I'm still really not in touch with reality at all, which is nice. But I'll talk about some of the stops along the way, because of course I had to buy yarn almost every stop. I was focused on buying just local yarn, and I think I was pretty successful, except for one instance. But anyway, let's just get into our knitting, and then
okay.
organically we can talk about
So it's
what's
not
life
much
stuff.
of a dramatic timestamp then.
Yeah, not much of it. Is there something that you want to share, Natasha?
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I don't know if we really discussed it, but make a long story short, our family house got caught on fire in April. Everyone was okay, but
Yeah,
that's
we're all
been a
okay.
big thing we've had to deal with. Going through your yarn, a lot of stuff has been lost, a lot of stuff has been salvaged, a lot of stuff has been found.
Yeah.
And it sounds dramatic, caught on fire. It wasn't massive flames, but it is uninhabitable. It has been completely gutted, and it's going to take a year to redo. So my parents are in rentals for the next year. So
And my stash is somewhere in storage. I don't actually know how much of it is okay. I think probably most of it, I'm hoping. But that's something now. I just took a break from all of it for almost a month. So
I feel like I had to share that just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But everyone's okay, and things are replaceable, and a lot has been saved. So I didn't know, is there anything else to touch on?
You went to Paris.
Oh yeah, I went to Paris. I didn't actually bring any knitting. I know I did bring knitting with me. Some baby hats. So I didn't do a ton of knitting,
right.
but I went with some of my best friends from childhood that I've known since I was like 6, and their husbands or boyfriends. So there were 8 of us, 4 couples, and of the 4 couples, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us all grew up together. So there were only two
newbies.
2, yeah, but they are both been with my friends for their partners for years. So they are well versed into the Stonington growing up life. And one of them lives here now anyway. So we had a blast. We originally went for Taylor Swift. My friend was really good about getting tickets when they were released. So when the Europe tour was announced, we all signed up to try and get tickets. And the first ones we were able to get were Paris. And we went to night 1 of the show. All 8 of us. We convinced the boys to go. And then me and one of my other friends went for night 3 as well. The trip was really focused on eating, drinking, and seeing Taylor Swift. So we kind of went with the flow, finding fun places to eat, such delicious food there. And we had a great time. I didn't go.
That was May, wasn't it?
That was May, yeah. I wasn't in a yarny headspace then. So
and then you weren't with any other knitters, right?
Yeah. So I didn't actually visit any shops, but John and I definitely want to go back. And then I'll...
And you know, I can't...
La Bien-Aimée.
She doesn't have her brick and mortar store anymore, does she?
If her store was still open, I would have gone to that. Yeah. And they were starting to set up for the Olympics, so it was cool to see that. We could see some stadiums in progress. Some things were kind of closed to access, but it wasn't overrun yet because it was middle of May.
And so on my trip, I did go to Edinburgh for one day, and I saw the remnants of the seating. Taylor Swift had been there a few days before, and it was really majestic around Edinburgh Castle. Maybe I'll send you a picture to put in. Gosh, I just got a taste for Edinburgh. Yeah. I definitely want to go back.
So yeah, some travel that we definitely want to go back to, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's now we'll do a time stamp. I feel like we needed to cover a few life things,
know?
It's in just 6 months.
We haven't just been sitting around for 6 months, in case you've been wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we're winging.
Do we have any? I don't have any FOs.
We do. No, we do. What are you wearing?
Oh, I'm wearing something that I made in 2016.
Wow.
It's
I made a sign.
That's what it is. Sweater by one of my favorite designers, Asa Tricosa.
So it's sweater without the E and 3 R's.
No, actually,
without the second E.
Oh, without the second E. Yes, thank you. So this is a Shibui knits yarn that I know it's already it's been discontinued for quite a while. Carva or Carvo, and it's cotton with a little bit of silk, and it's kind of a bumpy texture. You can see a little bit thick and thin.
Yeah. And
it was a little twisty, but so this is 8 years old.
That is
and I am still wearing it.
And
it's kind of, yeah.
You had you've come back from your trip, you flew into Boston, and you had some red wine on it, and you were able to treat it.
And I did,
and it's come out. So
it's come out, and it's a little bit asymmetric A-line, and it does stretch, during wearing, but then on washing it shrinks. I did have a problem with it slipping off my shoulders, so I did 3 rows of crochet, and there's some unevenness in it. Another thing that happened, in case you think I'm a little lopsided, I broke my shoulder skiing in February.
I don't think you're lopsided.
You don't think I look lopsided? Okay,
no.
Good. So I still don't have, I'm still haven't built up my muscle here or functionality. So I do find that things kind of slip off my left shoulder, but less and less so. I went to PT this morning.
Another thing that I'm just going to pause that we've gone through. Yes, my mom, you're just gliding right over this. Wow. So we are obviously very grateful you weren't more significantly injured. Yes. This is, they did give you 6 months to a year to make a full recovery, which in the grand scheme of things is not a long time. Your head was okay because you were wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
And you were with people that took care of you.
Amazingly good care of me. Yes.
Anna flew out to Colorado to help and help bring you back.
I had to have surgery, and now
I've got
surgery
in Colorado, and your home team here was impressed with what they did. Yeah. So that's always good to hear, for
the surgery.
Because it can be scary having major surgery
away from home.
A 5-hour flight away from home. It can be scary having major surgery a 20-minute drive from home.
It's true.
But
anyway, I don't want to dwell on it too much.
You know what? I just want to say one thing though. I picked you up from the airport and drove you back down from then, and it had been about a week since the accident. Maybe, or was it a week from the surgery?
It was a week from the surgery.
A week from the surgery. And you know what my mom started doing a week post shoulder surgery? Crocheting. Because it was her left shoulder, so she realized she could be in her sling. You didn't have a cast, but you had to wear a sling and couldn't. For how long were you? 6 weeks you were in the sling?
7 weeks.
7 weeks in the sling. And, all the time, sleeping and everything. So you figured out that you could hold the yarn and just crochet away. So 1 week post surgery, and this was pre-house fire, so that
crazy year
project has been salvaged, but
I'm not sure where it is.
We're not sure where it is. Yeah.
Anyway, it's the Ariana cardigan. I got into making granny squares.
And we'll find it. And it was a good therapeutic project. And you were inspired by our Cindy at our local yarn store in Connecticut,
which is Driftwood Yarns, a great store in Groton, Connecticut.
And she had done it. She had done it with smaller squares than the pattern. And so she helped you with that.
Yeah. I'm about 75% of it is finished now. But we'll talk about that next time.
So it's a hidden whip that will hopefully make its debut later on in 2024.
Yes, because I kind of look forward to wearing it. Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing. And what are you wearing, Natasha?
Okay,
Similar color to me.
I've worn this in other summer episodes. Yeah. This is my Nova by Shelly Anderson. I knit this back in 2020, so it's only 4 years old. Wait, did you say you knit this in 2016?
Yes.
And then you said it was 6 years old.
Oh, I can't do mathematics. 8.
2016. Yeah, 8 years old. Okay, because I was like, mine's 4 years old. Okay. Yes, I started it July 2024. July 24th, 2020, and finished it August 15th, 2020. So the pattern is more like a tunic, and it has this kind of notch in the neck. I did not do that notch, and I also did it a little bit shorter. Low battery sign. Keep going. But I did do the split hem, and the sorry, it's tight quarters here.
Yeah.
I did do the split hem and the uneven front and back.
It's very nice. It's a really nice summer top.
But I did it a little shorter, I think like 4 inches shorter on both front and back from the pattern. And the yarn I used was also Shibui.
Oh, interesting.
Shibui Knits Rain in the color Bone.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh, yes, and I wrote in my notes, I did the front and back 3 to 4 inches shorter than the pattern called for because I didn't want it to be as long. And I did an I-cord edge around the neck instead of the collar. So I wear this all the time, every summer.
So it washes and wears well.
Yes, and with Mateo, I often end up getting
all sorts of interesting things
or whatever on myself. So when you were treating this a couple days ago, you washed this for me, and it recovered quite well.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, this one of mine has been washed a lot. I wear it every summer.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any other FOs, Natasha?
I do.
Okay.
So I've talked about this one before. So my friend's mom gave me the yarn to make the super easy baby blanket in Morning, which is a Pearl Soho pattern and Pearl Soho yarn, and it's seven skeins of yarn came in the kit. And they are mostly cotton with a little bit of yak. It is 75% cotton, 25% yak. So the pattern just calls for knitting.
Garter stitch.
Garter stitch. Wow. The pattern calls for knitting.
Also translated into garter stitch. If you are knitting not in the round.
We're well practiced here. But I decided to do what I have done before. I have done when I made a blanket for Mateo, which was also a pattern by Pearl Soho, the no purl ribbed blanket. I just liked the texture of that better. The pattern also just had you do the color till you finish for the stripes. But I did a little something different that you have seen along the way, where I did.
Let me help you hold this up with my left arm.
Okay. I did a square and then a larger rectangle. And so the way I did it is when I cast on, I tried to make it so I used 100 gram skeins, 80% for my first row and 20% for the bottom, and then I kind of weighed from there. So yeah, it's 7 stripes in total, and this is gonna go
really gorgeous
back to my friend who's expecting her second baby. So originally the mom gave it to me to make for Mateo, but Mateo has since kind of grown out of using blankets, and he's not quite ready to use blankets again, if that makes sense, because he uses sleep sacks, and he's in his not staying still when he's awake phase. And I just think it would be meaningful for them to have that back. So I washed this on cold in the washing machine and also put it in the dryer, so it softened up and it survived really well. So I did have some leftovers. What are you expecting?
I'm just feeling the it's interesting that the yak, what percentage of yak is it?
25?
It really softens up the cotton very nicely. You can definitely feel the yak in this.
Yeah, it's incredible
yarn.
It's a nice, I mean, it is
combination of yarn.
It is not cheap yarn.
Right.
And it was nice to knit with. I know some people struggle kind of knitting with cotton, but I didn't mind it. Yeah, and I did this in fits and spurts because I cast this on when I was still pregnant. So
you ripped out, I remember the first time. Yes. You probably talked about it in previous episodes. Yeah. You changed your mind about the color placement, right?
Color placement. And I also figured out a better way to connect the
intarsia.
Yeah, so I twisted the yarn. Instead of what I had originally done is I was attaching as I went a new color.
Oh, that's right. But this time
kind of an Alice Stephen West way. And this way I did it more intarsia. And
it's much neater.
It's much neater. And once I started doing that and I saw how it looked when I did it the other way, I was like, I can't.
It just goes to show you that sometimes unpicking and ripping back and starting again, because you've learned along the way, results in a much more polished project.
So much happier with it. The weaving of the ends isn't perfect, I think, because cotton doesn't kind of mold into itself as well as wool.
Yeah.
For example, here, that's a pretty bad one. But in general, it's not so bad. So anyway,
people would really have to look.
Yeah, and it's for a baby.
Yeah.
So that is my 1FO. I did make some baby hats. They have since been gifted. I think I made like 3 or 4.
That's nice.
Since our February
filming.
Yes, I did for 2 sisters for my friend who has a girl and had another girl in April, and I made the Lola hat for them, for a big sister and a little sister. So when they put them on, they have kind of like little cat ears.
Oh, that's cute.
Let me show in the pattern page. You can see this is what they look like when they're on the little girl. They have a couple cats in their family, so that's the pattern. And then I used some purple yarn that you had given me, and I really like how these came out. They're super cute.
That is very cute
with the yarn. So I made those, and I made a baby vertebrae. I
That's
used the
right.
Arne and Carlos,
Sock yarn.
yep, for a baby boy that was born in March. And yeah, I used Arne, and I made a matching hat for him. Here is Mateo modeling the hat. Obviously too small for him, because it was for a newborn. So I stretched it on him, but he tolerated it. So
he's
yeah.
he's taking a nap right now. He might pop in, but he doesn't sit
Oh,
still
and I made
anymore.
another newborn vertebrae.
Gosh, Natasha.
Wow. I made this for my cousin's baby. They live in
That's
Dubai. I think I had started this one. Yeah. So that I did with cotton. And that went, I don't know, I finished this February 23rd, 2024. So there's a chance I talked about it in the previous episode.
No, I don't think so,
Okay.
because February 22nd was when I had my shoulder surgery. You probably were talking about knitting it.
We must have filmed in early February.
Before I went skiing.
Yeah. So I wasn't done with it yet, but I might have been talking about it.
You might have been talking about
Okay.
it. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
If we talk long enough, I might have an FO. I'm casting off right now.
All right. Why don't do you want to talk about that, or do you want me to talk about, I have 2 whips.
Okay, I'll just talk about this because there's a lot of stitches, so it's going to take me a long time to cast it off. So I don't think I have any FOs. I was crocheting like crazy.
You were doing the cardigan,
which I haven't finished, but it's close.
And then you started working on some dishcloths.
Yeah.
During like the month, of everything coming out of the house and being sorted.
During the chaotic.
It was 3.5 weeks where you really didn't have to.
Where would you?
Didn't do anything. Yeah.
And then for the trip, really, I managed to grab. I had a kit, so that's what I've been working on. For the most part, and it's the Color Shift by Melanie Berg.
It was an easy thing for you to grab from your studio that had like needles and the yarn and the pattern all ready to go
already, and this was in a cardboard box. So I don't want to dwell too much on all the stuff that's happened this year, but I'll just say that we had a fire that started up high. It was caused by an electrical spark. There was some damage, of course, by the fire, but it mostly went up high into the roof and ceiling
with
smoke, a lot of smoke damage. And it started where the wall meets where I have my studio and bedroom. So a lot of the debris that fell down came down into my studio where all my yarn and everything is. But what really caused the damage was the flooding by the fire department. But thank you, fire department, for coming and putting the fire out. But water damage
is really bad.
Water damage was the worst of it. And then just everything being covered in insulation because of basically the roof and ceiling collapsed. So that was the damage. This was a kit in a cardboard box, in the original cardboard box.
A thick cardboard box.
So the cardboard box protected everything inside. So I just grabbed that, and as Natasha said, it had needles, it had pattern, it had all the yarn that I needed, and it was just fun, meditative knitting. So I took this with me on my trip. I'm literally casting off now, and so it's by Melanie Berg. It's a big shawl, almost like a schlanke, as Stephen West says, and the yarn is the main yarn is Magpie Fiber Swanky Socks, and you have made a sweater out of that yarn, the same color. And it's a gorgeous yarn. It's merino, cashmere, and nylon, 80-10-10.
Yeah, that yarn is so nice.
Yeah, so the main color is called Harpoon, which is this color. And this is not my usual color palette at all, actually. And then there's one skein called Castaway. Isn't yours? Did you mention Castaway? No, never mind.
Mine is closer to that Harpoon color, but I don't think it was called Harpoon.
So this is the Castaway. And then there's all these other little pops of colors are all singles by the Periwinkle Sheep Merino single and Spun Right Round Merino single. And there were little balls of these singles included. and you just do these winding, multiple yarn overs, and then dropping the stitches that creates this pattern. So
that's always fun.
So I really, this got my knitting mojo back. So it's huge. It's kind of like, as you said, the feather, bless you.
Birds of a Feather.
Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. But,
and I also feel like there's a Stephen West shawl that looks like this too. Your red and black one, that was a mystery.
Oh yeah. Color Craving, maybe. Actually, no, that doesn't, I can't remember which one that was. So it's huge. And you just keep increasing. And
oh, do you need help?
Yeah, so I'm casting off now. And I have not woven in a single end. And
oh, I see. There's this corner here. Okay.
Yeah. So I might just tie the ends and let them hang. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of loose ends. Natasha's like, no.
No, I think you should weave them in.
I don't have any darning needles.
Oh, I have my darning needles. I have like 8. You can have.
Oh, good. Okay. So that's going to be my next thing. So I'm casting off. So I'm
wow, it's so soft. You know, this looks a lot better than when you had it on your laps the other day.
Oh yeah.
And like in a pile, like on screen, it looks so nice.
Yeah, I really like it.
It's really nice.
So, yep, that's going to be
sneeze again.
Bless you. Bless you. Almost FO. I'm casting off as we speak.
Excuse me. That's exciting. So I have 2 whips. Oh shoot! I just noticed a drop stitch. Okay, let me just catch that. I'm going to talk about this one second. I'm going to talk about another one first. So I had little nubbins left of yarn from the blanket. Some were, it was about the same. I didn't weigh it. I forgot to weigh it. They were mostly about the same amount of yarn, except for the ones that I cast on and cast off with. There was a little bit less. And because this is for a little brother, there's a big brother, and I was like, oh, I should probably do something for the big brother.
Yeah, and that's always nice.
I wasn't feeling the vibe about doing a hat with this yarn for some reason. I wanted him to kind of be excited about something. So I was like, oh, I remember this book that someone had gifted me where I've made some stuffies for Mateo and actually for this other boy as well.
Someone was one of our lovely viewers.
Yes, one of our lovely viewers. Thank you. I've made a couple of these flying fish, and this whole book is about you knit a square as a base, and then some, other little bits and bobs to create a little stuffy. So it's not as fiddly as maybe doing some stuffies. So I picked this up, took a look, and I've decided to do Oscar the octopus.
Oh, cute.
I thought it would be a fun way to use different colors because I can do the tentacles in the different colors. So I made I cast on a few less stitches for the body than the pattern called for because I was nervous about running out of the yarn when I cast on.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Road rage outside our window.
I don't think it was road rage. They were talking about what beers they have in their car.
Okay.
The rental that we're in right now is like a stone's throw away from a beach. So, and it's July 3rd. So people are gearing up.
And it's gorgeous weather.
And it's beautiful weather. People are gearing up for their beach hangs for the weekend. I don't know. I'm calling it the weekend. It's Wednesday. I cast on 15 less stitches than the pattern called for because I had originally cast on. I was like, ooh, I'm not going to make it. So it's going to have a little bit smaller head, and I also didn't have enough in one color to do this solid body. So I just did some uneven striping.
Which is nice.
And then I have done 2 tentacles. They're on placeholder yarn right now. So you do some little baubles. So I have, and you also have to do a belly. So I'm going to do the belly in the white. I have 7 colors. The belly in the white, the body is in the 2 grays.
Okay.
So this is what I have left of the grays because I'm going to need a little bit to do the connection of all of the tentacles. So let me just show you the pattern again.
The tentacles look
So I want to save some of the gray to connect all of here so that when I join it to the body, it's connected. And then I have to do the belly, and I think I'm going to do the eyes in black, some other yarn I have, but I don't think this will show. Let me just show you. That's what the belly will look like. So I'm going to do the belly in the white, and then the tentacles are going to be in the colors. I have the dark green as well.
The tentacles are really cute. It's an I-cord, basically, isn't it?
It is an I-cord with baubles, yeah.
With baubles.
So this is what I have left of the peach.
Yeah, I guess peach or melon.
And then
apricot.
I have to make 8 tentacles. I've done 2, so I have 6 to go. So I will use these up for the tentacles. This
it's really great to
this
use
for the belly,
everything up,
and then this for connecting the tentacles to the body. So I'm hopeful that it'll work out.
I'm sure it will, one way or another.
And that I'm using every last bit of this yarn as I can. I was like, I could have done a few more rows of the tentacle, but I think this is pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah. You just have a little nugget left.
Yeah. So that is one whip. Do you have another whip to chat about?
Yes, I have one whip. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so my whip is inspired by the trip that I came back from, and one of the stops was in the Faroe Islands, which belong to Denmark. Really cute little town. There were 2 or 3 yarn shops, I think, in a very small town.
Mm.
And in the first yarn shop I went to, I bought some remnants, actually. Do you mind holding this for a second? So
this is super fine.
It's the yarn shop was
going to be loud and crinkly.
I'm just going to hold it still like this. The yarn shop had a basket of basically the equivalent of what remnants, leftovers that they had from knitting samples, and I was just drawn to this. So they had this bag of these 2 very fine yarns. They're slightly different color, natural, and this is yarn from sheep from the Faroe Islands. There was no label or anything, but the lady told me it was Faroese yarn.
Faroese? I've never heard that before.
I've made that up. And I think that is a thing. Basically, like
Faroean?
Faroe is the island.
Yeah.
Faroe.
Or Faroenian?
I think it's Faroese, honestly. Anyway, and then it had this ball, which is these 2 strands that was already all wound up together. So I was just drawn to it. I thought, this might be something interesting. It's not the softest wool in the world, but it's woolly wool. And then the second shop that I went to in the Faroe Islands had this toddler outfit, and the design is by Isaga Yarn. Isaga, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it properly. It's the Danish yarn company, Isaga. And anyway, they had a sample of this romper. The sample that they had was in gray with different colors. And
this is too cute.
In that shop, they had a basket of little balls of color that seemed very similar to this yarn. So I just picked out, Natalie helped me pick out 5 balls of yarn. Again, no labels, and they just weigh it, and they charge me by weight. And the amount of money that I paid for these little colored leftover balls of yarn was how much it cost to buy a stamp for a postcard.
Oh my God.
So A, the yarn was inexpensive, and B, the stamp was expensive. So I don't have, let me see, I might just have a little. So it was really perfect because I could, so these are the what I have left over. And this pink is based on a gray. It's the original yarn was gray wool. So it's this really lovely, it's not coming out accurately, but it's this lovely gray soft pink. So yeah, this is what I have left over.
These are such beautiful colors.
So it was really, so I they were selling the pattern in the shop, but it was in Danish. But I just went on the Isaga yarn website and was able to get an English PDF version. I'm going to look it up in a minute and tell you what the name of the actual pattern is. There's also a dress version, which is kind of cute. I like the concept. So you knit sideways. And so I knit this all on my trip, and I added a couple of the yarns that were in my shawl just randomly.
Oh, fun.
And I just randomly would pull a color out. So the legs aren't exactly the same. They have the same colors in them, but it's a different order.
Fun.
So I'm just working on the top now. There's only 2 sizes, but anyway, I was just really drawn to it, and it was just it was a really fun travel project.
Yeah.
And people would come up and see how much progress I had made, because I was on this cruise for 21 days. Okay, so I am going to look up the name of the pattern. Is there something, do you have another whip?
Yeah, so actually, no, never mind. Okay, when the back to the fire. When that had started, Matteo was napping, and we were in the studio. We were thinking about recording a podcast, but we were like, let's just sit and knit for a little bit. So this was in April when this happened, April 19th to be exact. A Friday.
Friday afternoon.
1:00. Anyway, so Matteo usually goes down around 12:30. So, but I think maybe around noon, whatever. So I was like, let's just sit and knit for a little bit and then see how we feel and we can record. But anyway, I had finally picked up this Anna T project sorry, I'm fixing my dropped stitch, that I had started, I think, in 2022? Did I start this? Let me check my handy dandy Ravelry. I started this in July 18th, 2022. So
Okay.
the Anna T, look, I have.
Oh, very nice.
By Sarah Stark. It is a T, but the yarn I decided to use has wool in it. I'm doing Malabigro yarn Susura, which is a mix of silk and merino, silk, linen, and merino. So I thought it would be a little warm for me as a tee with this yarn, because I either do the tank top or the long sleeve. I find that the tees, I don't end up, low battery signal again. I don't end up wearing them. I get hot when it's warm and I'm cold when it's cooler. I've just found that I don't end up wearing them. So I was like, I'm just gonna make this long sleeve. So I had then run out of yarn because I didn't have enough yarn.
That's usually, if you run out of yarn, that means you didn't have enough.
For the pattern, I had enough to make the tee.
Oh, yes.
If I didn't do long sleeves, I would have had enough yarn. That's what I mean. So it took me a while to reorder the yarn. Anyway, this got covered in insulation, smelled like smoke, completely drenched. And your friend Gwen, she also did this to your crochet cardigan you were on.
I was working on that.
I was so upset because I wanted to finish this for Paris. Because I thought this would be a good layer to have for spring in Paris. And I was really upset because this happened in April. I was leaving at the beginning of May. I wasn't going to finish it and didn't even know if it was going to make it. So Gwen treated this. She soaked it and washed it and did it with the skein of yarn that was attached to it. Put it in a skein for me, and it
survived.
It's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, it's nice and soft.
And it's amazing. I'm so touched and so grateful for what she did. So what I was drawn to this pattern was the shoulder style. Is this saddle?
I think it's a type of saddle shoulder, yes.
You can see it in, let's see, let me show you the actual pattern. That's the T. And it's just subtle, and I like the way it's shaped, and I think it's pretty flattering, just the way with these kind of angle here. So when I had realized I was running out of yarn, back in, what did I say, 2022?
Yes.
I had done some yarn management with aligning my sleeves. So my sleeves are basically at the point where they need a little, maybe a centimeter more, and then the ribbing. And the body, I need about another 2 inches. So you can see
that's great.
when I have since picked it up, there's a little bit of a line, but this is going to block out. Yeah. It's just because this has all been blocked, and I think it had like a couple soaks.
Yes.
So that'll even out once I finish it. So I have this left, and I actually have one more skein, but I don't think I'm going to break it.
Where did you get the extra skein from?
I ended up ordering it over the winter.
Oh, okay. From Ravelry Group? Oh.
No, I ordered it from a shop. Not from the Ravelry Group website, but from, I think I went onto Ravelry, and you know how you can see where it's sold. I'm sorry, I can't. I ordered it probably 9 months ago or something, and I can't remember.
A lot has happened, but originally I got this from my local yarn shop. Driftwood Yarns had ordered it, and I had ordered a color for me, but it never came. I think it was just not available.
When I ordered myself 2 skeins of this. I probably only needed to order 1. I ordered you like a purpley one, so you have 1 skein somewhere, hopefully, maybe.
Oh yes, I remember that purple one now.
But this is incredibly soft, and this on my lap, like, I'm glad this is going to be good for the fall, because the merino is warm. So,
and you've knit at a pretty tight gauge. I prefer my knitting to be a little looser, but Natasha, it's beautiful. These are really on
size 5.
Tension
size 5
gorgeous.
needles.
Sorry, I have like yarn fluff on my face.
Yeah, this silk yarn has like little bits in it, so it definitely has
some of the linen as well. I can see, but the stitch definitely it's just really lovely in person. I think it's more lovely than it's coming out on the screen. But
I love the kind of tonal coloring here. That's what it is, right? Tonal.
Yeah, I think the linen picks up the dye differently to the merino, so it gives it this really nice depth.
So yeah, I hope to finish this.
If I knit it, it would be looser gauge, and it might not be as warm. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
Okay, so I found the pattern that I bought from for the romper, and it's called the Boletsteen. So that is Danish. This is the pattern you can see, and
I love the like bloomer situation.
So it is. You have to go to the Isaga Yarn website, but if you can find it on Ravelry, and then it takes you to the website, and I was able to get the PDF because, of course, I wanted to cast on that day on the ship, and I was able to get the PDF pattern, and I had my iPad with me, so I just really enjoyed it. The dress version is a separate pattern. But Natalie and I were saying that it might make a really nice adult dress, actually, the princess, maybe that just even sleeveless, like a really flattering A-line dress.
Something about the vertical stripe is very nice.
Yeah.
And the way it's... So are you doing garter and then stockinette, garter?
Yes, exactly. So you do garter ridges.
It has some nice texture with it. That's kind of like why I did this. I liked the texture versus just garter.
Yeah, and I by mistake my garter ridges are 2 ridges less than the garter ridges in the pattern. But I kind of like that version of it. You can maybe see in the pattern the colors are a little bit more subtle because the ridges are more more prominent. Yeah. Cool. So that's going to be finished hopefully soon, and I have just enough yarn, and then I'd like to make the dress version for a child, not for me. That's all my knitting. I mean, I do have some acquisitions. I might just give you a big
Do you want to talk
glimpse.
about a few of them, and then I feel like our knitting mojo's back. You can kind of talk about others along the way, but maybe what you're looking forward to next,
Yeah, so I will actually.
or
Sorry,
any of like the
I'm gonna
special
bend
yarn?
down now, but what I'm probably going to cast on next is linen yarn that I bought at Espace Tricot. I went to Montreal earlier on in the year, um, when it was the eclipse,
Oh yeah, the eclipse happened.
which was in March. Was it
No,
in
I think it
March?
was April. It was the beginning of April.
Beginning of
It was
April.
right after we got back from Florida. Post Florida, pre fire.
Right. So I went to Espace Tricot and I bought some linen yarn that is it's their own. I don't have any of the tags. I lost the tags.
Wow, you were knitting with such fine
I haven't
yarn.
started yet.
I know, but this is so
Lace
fine.
weight. It's actually lace weight linen. I'm gonna hold them both, two strands together.
Did they give you these like
No, Cindy,
skein holders?
my lovely local yarn store, Cindy,
Oh,
caked up this lace weight linen yarn for me before I went on my trip and put it in these holders. Thank God, because otherwise I'd have one tangled mess. But I carried this all over Northern Europe with me, and I didn't cast on. This was going to be my project. And I do have I want to make a summer top out of this. This is going to be my next cast on.
Wow, that's beautiful. That was so nice because you didn't have your Swift or anything because it's all been stored away. So
yeah,
you didn't have an hand winding lace weight that amount.
Linen, especially
linen would take hours.
So and Cindy at Driftwood Yarns has one of those electric. It still took a long time, and she also wound up some of the yarn that I needed for this. So that was very sweet. So that's what I'm going to cast on next. But I will just.
Oh, sorry. Do you have a pattern in mind?
Yes, I already bought the pattern.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll just show the pattern. It's by let's see. Yeah, it's called Agave, and it's by Yumiko Alexander.
Oh, I remember we went through the process of you picking this out.
Yeah. I love asymmetric things, and I love that big lace pattern there.
It's like
petals, and the hem. I'm gonna make mine with sleeves, but not there's like these really big sleeves. There's actually two options in the pattern, but there's these. I'm not sure how that's coming out, but I'm just going to make kind of just ordinary sleeves, I think, kind of like this, relatively close fitting, and just have this one big motif be the thing. So I need to do some gauging, I think. So that's what I'm casting on next, because all the yarn that I bought on my travels is woolly wool. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like knitting on it in
it's been a very warm summer
in the summer, and I think I'm just gonna touch on this yarn just to give you a flavor of what I bought along the way. So this I bought in the Outer Hebrides, which belong to Scotland, Scottish Isles north of Scotland, and this yarn is from the North Ronaldsay sheep. And they're the only sheep in the world that live on seaweed. They eat seaweed.
That's pretty cool.
And this...
I wonder why more sheep don't eat seaweed. Is it because they eat grass? Right? So is it just an availability thing?
Well, on these islands, it's an availability thing. And I don't know if they've been, specially bred. I'm sorry, I don't really know the details about them. But this is the natural color. And... yeah, it was spun, and it is really soft, and it's very lanolin-y. And I think at the time I bought it with the idea to make another one of these rompers or a dress, but I'm not sure what I'm going to make with it. But it smells very sheepy. So all the yarn that I bought along the way was either fingering or sport weight woolly wool, with the idea that it can all kind of be mixed and matched together. Mm-hmm. That was my idea.
Nice.
We'll see how it actually pans out.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to give you a glimpse, but there's only one other yarn I want to talk about, because I gave most of it to Natalie, but this is my bag.
Of goods.
Which is in this Icelandic grocery store shop.
Called Cronin.
Cronin, yeah.
Oh no, never mind.
So, in Yeah, it was in Reykjavik in Iceland. Natalie and I had a lot of fun at a wool shop, and we ended up buying this bag by this company Hesper, which is based close to Reykjavik, and it was about 10 or 12 little balls of yarn that were all dyed using plants. It contained 70 grams. And we were doing our conversion, so it's about 138 Icelandic kronas to the dollar. And a quick way of just figuring out how much things cost was to divide by 100. Well, this 70 grams cost 8,100 krona. And we were dividing by 10 instead of 100. No, sorry, we should have divided by 10, I'm sorry. Basically, we thought that this 70 grams was costing about $7, but it actually cost $57.
Wow.
I gave mine
for a hat.
Yeah, so it's a kit for a scrap hat. You get a little pattern,
$60.
Yeah,
for enough yarn for a hat.
And
Iceland is expensive.
Iceland is expensive, and this is one of the nuggets that was in there that I kept because it's purple. But it's all botanically dyed.
Yeah.
And this is another one. Some of them were variegated, but a lot of them were very kind of earthy colors. And my friend Natalie was working on a cardigan. She was just adding and striping in yarn that she was buying along the way. She was also used some of her own hand-dyed yarn. And the colors in there were just really working with her cardigan. Natalie bought one of these bags too. And we're in the shop, we were just peering in through this little window to see what colors there were. And the lady opened this bag for Natalie so she could take a look at the colors, but I decided not to open my bag. And then when I opened my bag, we realized that each bag contained actually exactly the same colors.
Really?
But because there were like 10 or 12 colors, there were only a few that you could see in this window. So I thought that they were all different. But anyway, so some of these little ones weren't enough for Natalie to make like meaningful stripes. So I just gave her, I was happy to give them to her, and she gave me, I have 2 purples and this one to do something with. So that was, I didn't realize how expensive that was until I checked my credit card statement a few days later. I did also buy some Istex yarn there, which was very, very inexpensive. So this Istex has a new wool. Thank you, Josie, for telling me about this. It's much finer than Let Lopi. So this is the classic Icelandic wool. So I had to, of course, buy some of that. But this is very affordable in Iceland.
Right.
So yeah, so I think that's it for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna finish this, and I look forward to, I think I'm gonna do some gauge swatching for my red linen, and that's gonna be my summer project.
Nice.
I am turning more into a monogamous knitter, or just 2 projects at a time is kind of good. An easy project and something that's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
And then a dishcloth if necessary. I did also make some dishcloths along the way. I bought some cotton, I think also on the Faroe Islands. Okay, so I think that's it from me. What about you, Natasha? What's your next project?
I had also been working on some other baby hats in the middle of the fire stuff, and those were not really salvageable. Right. So I had to figure out something else for those babies. This is the yarn I brought with me to Paris. This is the amount of knitting I did on my Paris trip.
What yarn is that?
So
this is like it's woolly wool.
This is yarn that my Auntie Joanne got in Iceland.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm gonna do 2 hats from this, just a ribbed hat. So I'm gonna do these. These are gonna be like my next easy project after I finish my sweater. I will go to this, and then I don't know. I think I'm gonna pick through my stash. Oh, Oh, one other thing to talk about. I'm going to pick through my stash.
Oh, yes, one other thing.
Just to figure out what I want to cast on next. So you talk about this. This you bought on your trip.
Also Faroe Islands. Spent one day there and I loved it. We went to a thrift shop and I bought this in the thrift shop, and it's hand knit for Matteo, and it cost 50 Danish kroner, which I've forgotten what the conversion is, but very, very inexpensive. I also bought a sweater for my great niece that was striped in kind of more feminine colors that I posted to her from Scotland. Hopefully that's for little Ada. She'll be able to wear it in the autumn. But this is
$7.23.
I know.
That is like highway robbery.
I know.
Oh,
and the other sweater was only 50 kronen.
Oh my God. So no, this is also 50.
Oh, sorry. So, the other one was 40 then. The other
oh my
one
God.
was
Okay.
cheaper.
So the other one.
I know. I mean, it's in a thrift shop, but this was so beautifully knitted.
$5.78.
I know. Look at this.
Oh my God. Beautiful.
Look how beautiful this is. So everybody on the Faroe Islands knits. I mean, it was so fun being there and just spotting all the hand knits that people were wearing. And they did have
even
some
in June?
other. It was chilly there. Yeah.
We were just having 90-degree weather in the Cambridge, Boston area in June. And you were wearing woolly sweaters. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was wearing, I brought one wool sweater with me that I wore and a jacket. And I did wear this a couple of times. So anyway, this was such a great find for Matteo.
It'll be big for him this year, but I think he'll at least 2 years.
It's really warm because it's of all the stranding. And I would like to think that it's yarn from the Faroe Islands. But I was just so excited to buy this. And so this is, living on. If anybody is watching from the Faroe Islands.
Did you make this?
Did you make this, or do you know who made this? It's absolutely beautiful. So this was very special to me. I love going to thrift shops everywhere I go. When I go to England, I go to all the charity shops.
I did go to a couple a couple thrift stores in Paris too.
Did you?
There was a lot of chic.
Oh yeah,
chic ones and stuff like that.
We went to a couple in Reykjavik too. But I didn't find any treasures. Even the thrift stores in Iceland are very expensive. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just love to, give things a second lease and just let them live on. And if you look after these woolly sweaters, many generations can wear them, hopefully. Yeah. So yeah, we'll end on this with this cute little sweater.
Yeah, so hope you guys are all doing well.
Yes,
thanks for your patience. I know
thank you for
it was
watching.
a long time, but we've gone through a lot, and we're still living,
and we're fine.
Yeah,
it's been a rough 6 months. We debated about how much to share. So yeah, we're fine. We're over the worst. And in the big scheme of things, we're healthy and we have a lot to be thankful for. We think of the people that are living in really, really, really going through tragedies across the world. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and our Knitting Mojo is back. We are not going to promise when we're going to do the next episode, but hopefully within the next 6 months.
I think we can commit to within the next 6 months.
It would be nice if we did one every 3 to 5 weeks. That's kind of a nice window.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're not going to have any more crazy events this year. We've had enough. This isn't real wood. Okay, that's it.
Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Bye. Oh, one more thing. Please take time every day to do a little bit of what brings you joy. It really is important. And one other thing I've learned in what our family has gone through: use all the beautiful things. Don't save them. Use them and enjoy them. Bye.
Bye.